All right, so today we're going to talk about the area of a triangle. So when we're talking about the area of a triangle, it's actually pretty similar to the area of a parallelogram and rectangle if you look on your reference chart, and we'll look at that in just a second. We do have the same two figures that we need. We need the base and the height. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out what is the base and what is the height. So with these triangles, some of the times you're going to see the base as the bottom, and then the height would be the one that has that dotted line like in the parallelograms for the height. Another thing you can look for is a right angle, that little square box right there. That will tell you that the height and the base, because those two have to touch in order to be your height and the base. These two touch right here. So we're going to go ahead and label this section and try and find the base and the height of each of these triangles. So in this first one, the height would be in the middle, even though it doesn't show it, but it does give us that information. So that would be the height, and the base would be at the bottom. On this next one, it gives us our height very clearly because it gives us that line down the middle, showing that it makes a right angle there. Even though it doesn't show it, it technically is. So this would be our height, and our base would be the bottom. On this very last example, it looks almost the same as the second one. So our base is at the bottom where that height line comes down. So we have our base at the bottom and our height in the middle as that dotted line. Another way you might see this, I'm going to draw my own little triangle, is like this, and they're going to give you a little right angle. Your base would be the bottom one, and your height would be the one going up and down. To be completely honest with you, you can actually interchange those when you have a right triangle like I just drew right here. Let's move on to actually looking at the formula for this and what this means and what the differences are and what the similarities are between the area formula for a rectangle, parallelogram, and a triangle. When we're working with a triangle, if we look at our reference chart under the area section, it says 1/2 base times height. What this means is this piece right here, the base times height, is the exact same as what we've been doing. We're just adding in this new element. And I'm going to show you an easier way before you start thinking about, oh my goodness, I have to multiply by a fraction. Let's look at this example. Over here, the example it tells us the base and the height. So again, the base is at the bottom, so that's the 4 inches. And then the height is that dotted line in the middle, which is measuring 3 inches. We're going to do the base times the height first. So we do 4 times 3, and that gives us 12. Here is what would be different. If this was a rectangle or a parallelogram, we would already have our answer of 12. But since this is a triangle, we're going to do something a little bit different, and that is going to be to divide by 2. This is the most important part of dividing to find the answer for an area of a triangle. The reason why is this right here, that 1/2, is the same as if I would have a letter up top. We know that that means to divide. So instead of multiplying, because there's a 1 on top, we just divide by the bottom number, which is 2. When we divide our example by 2, we end up with the number 6. So our area for this triangle in our example is, the area is 6 inches squared. Remember, they put that square there because we had inches right here and inches right here. We multiplied 2 values of inches together, which gives us a 2 as our exponent. Let's go ahead and look at this example under the You Try section and see if we can do this together. So in some places they do write the area formula a little bit differently, but we want to make sure that we're used to using the one that we use as 6th grade. So we're not going to use theirs. I want us to get used to seeing ours from our reference sheet. So let's first find the base and the height. So the base is 8 because that is at the bottom. So I'm going to write an 8. Oh, that's ugly. 8 inches. And then the height goes from the top to the bottom, and that is 6 inches. If we look at our reference sheet, we will see that our area formula is 1/2 base times height. Again, we're going to do the base times height first and then do the 1/2 at the end. Just be sure not to forget it. So our base here was, 8. Oh my goodness. And the height was 6. So when we do 8 times 6, we know that that answer would give us 48. Here's the most important part, and do not forget to divide by 2 because it is a triangle formula. We have that 1/2. So we're going to divide by 2, and that gives us an answer of 24. So the area for the given example would be 24 inches squared. Again, we did inch times inches, so that gives us that squared value at the end. Let's go ahead and flip over to the back and try out some of these examples. So on the back, it gives us the area formula. So it's 1/2 base times height again, remembering that that 1/2 just means to divide by 2. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. These look a little bit different, and they do give us useless information sometimes. So the one thing I want you to look for is that right angle. That's going to be your end all be all. It tells you exactly what you need and what you don't need. So I would choose 15 feet as my base. The one that touches that right angle is 8 feet. This is going to be my height. This 17 is completely useless. Because of that right angle right there, this is useless information, just like we saw with the parallelograms yesterday. So we're going to follow the equation or the formula and fill it in to make sure we get our correct answer. So again, the area formula is A equals 1/2 BH, so base times height. We're going to do the base times height first, but I'm going to fill it all in first. So area equals 1/2. My base is 15, so I'm going to put times 15 times 8. The reason why I write out my formula is because when we get into older grades and get into more complex things, we are going to have our formulas written out every time instead of just going through the steps in our heads because there's going to be too many steps. So the first thing I'm going to do is the base times the height. 15 times 8 is 120. We know that 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. So that's exactly what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 120 divided by 2. When I do that, I will have my final answer for my area, and that gives me 60. The measurement here is in feet, and because it is area, it is squared, so put that 2 exponent behind the feet. I'm going to drop down to the one right below this one because this one wants to trick you. There is no useless information here. So let's take a look at this. We need to find, we know that the area equals 1/2 base times height. So I know for a fact that this right here, this 7 feet is going to be my height. No doubt about it. What is concerning is the fact that there's 2 numbers on the bottom, but actually we need both of those numbers because they both touch that right angle that they gave us. So instead of ignoring one of these, we're going to add them together to get our total length of our base. 3 plus 12 is 15 feet. So this is the number we're going to be using for our base measurement. Let's go ahead and plug these numbers into our formula, and then we can start solving to find the area. So we have area equals 1/2. My base is 15, so we're timesing by 15, and we're going to times by the height, which is 7. Remember to do that piece first, the base times height. So that would mean 15 times 7 is 105. I know that this 1/2 right here means to divide by 2. So when I do 105 divided by 2, I find out that my area equals 52.5. Again, make sure you look at your measurements here and make sure you're writing them in with your answers, otherwise it is incorrect. So we measured in feet and we multiplied technically 2 values of feet together. So feet squared would be our answer. I'm going to do one more example, so I'm going to drop this down a little bit further to get to that last one at the bottom where it has 12 feet and 21 feet. So this one right here is a little bit different, but you don't want to make any mistakes when doing it. It only gives you the information you need. The base of the actual triangle is 12 feet. The height, again, I can tell from that right angle and the dotted line that it is 21 feet. So in order to find this one, we're going to write out the area formula again. Area equals 1/2 base times height. So I'm going to plug this in. Area equals 1/2. The base is 12, so times 12 times 21. I'm going to do base times height first. 12 times 21 equals 252. Now, because I have that 1/2, I have to make sure I do the very last and most important step, which is to divide by 2. When I divide by 2, I get 126. So my area is equal to 126. And don't forget your measurement pieces. It's going to be measured in feet, and we multiplied 2 values of feet together, so it's going to be squared. So make sure you put that exponent of 2 behind your feet.